Hi there, it's Stuart here with another thought for the day as we work through the Lord's Prayer. The next part of the Lord's Prayer that I'd like to look at is the phrase, "Give us this day our daily bread." Now, I don't know whether that seems like a strange thing to be told to ask of God, considering that most of us, without praying that, quite regularly have food in our fridge and clothes on our backs. And especially considering that Jesus, in the same chapter, Matthew chapter 6, goes on to say that God knows what we need even before we ask Him. So, what's the point in this phrase? Well, I think there's two important things to kind of notice about this phrase, which are quite linked together, quite important. The first thing to say is that it puts us in our kind of place, really. It sets up God, as our sovereign, powerful provider, and it sets us up as his subordinate beings. And that's not a negative thing to say, that's just how we've been designed, that's just how we've been made. God is a God who loves to give, a God who loves to provide, and a God who loves to care for his people. And the reason we've been made in the first place is so that God can give us good things, that he can provide for us, and that he can care for us. This book I've been reading with the children, What Every Child Should Know About Prayer, sums it up quite nicely, really. It says, "God is a father who loves to take care of his children. He is happy when we ask him to provide what we need." You see, it's all about this relationship again. It's about building up, kind of setting up that dichotomy that we should have between us and God, of him being our provider and us being the receiver. That's how we're both made to exist with one another. The second thing to notice and to pay attention to is the fact that Jesus also calls himself the bread of life. And you see, this is not a coincidence at all, is it? That Jesus commands us to pray, "Father, give us this day our daily bread," and then goes on to call himself the bread of life. You see, more than just having our basic necessities met, Jesus knows that what we need most of all is him. And so when we're saying, "Give us this day our daily bread," of course we're asking God to provide what we need. That's good and right for us to do. But it also means that we've got to pay attention to what is more important, which is that we have our spiritual needs met in Christ. So when we say, "Give us this day our daily bread," let's remember that we have a good, kind God who will provide everything that we need, but also to remember that what we need most is Jesus, our daily bread, even more important than our food.